sustenance, dwindling, and end. No, it's not like that. It is continuous. It's unlimited bliss. Material world is dukhalayam, but spiritual is sukhalayam. It fulfills all the desires, and it's all attractive. Everybody want to go there because they are part of that creation. But it is unmanifest to the mundane eyes. It is not seen. So this is how now from this verse onwards, these characteristics will be seen in the next verses now. Uh, the transcendental to the manifest and unmanifest world. So in the material world also there's a manifest world, and in material world also there's an unmanifest world. There's like subtle elements. They are not easily seen or visible. But the spiritual world is transcendental to the manifest world also, what we can see through our eyes. And even in the material world, what we cannot see to the eyes, that also is, so to that also it is transcendental. So that is supreme destination. And anyone who goes to that place never comes back to this material world again. So that is uh, uh, Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. She will never take birth again. So here, Baldev Vidyabhushan says that the rebirth of everyone stated in verse 16 has been elaborated in the verse 17 to 9, showing the birth and destruction of all entities under the control of karma. Now, what the devotee attains is described Mamupetya tu kaunteya. So devotees are one who attains Krishna. What happens to them? That is been explained now, 20th verse onwards, from here onwards. After explaining the impermanence of the world, the eternality of the Lord's nature is being mentioned, Sridhar Swami is telling. So the text 20 now. Parastasmattu bhavanyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yatsa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Would like to read? Please raise your hand. Surya Prabhu.
Yet there is another manifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is.
Yeah, thank you. So let us try to understand. Till now we discussed about the world which is bhutva bhutva praliyate, getting annihilated again and again. Now we are discussing about the world which will be never annihilated. But in both the cases, by seeing the nature of both the annihilated and which is not getting annihilated, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to remember Krishna. That is the point. So, parastasmattu bhava anya. There is another word. And what is this nature? What is this bhava? Vyakto vyakta sanatanaha, which is eternal and transcendental. And transcendental to manifest world also and unmanifest world also. So in matter, there's a manifest matter also, there's unmanifest matter also. Like mind, intelligence, false ego, we cannot see. That is manifest material only, but it is unmanifest. And we can see earth, water, fire, air, ether, that is manifest world. So that place, it is supreme and it is never annihilated. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. It is supreme and it is never annihilated. When all in this world are annihilated, that part remains as it is. Nasyatsu na vinashyati. So when everything is annihilated in the material world, that is a material aspect of manifest and unmanifest matter, when it is all annihilated, maybe in the during Brahma's night, one night, or during Brahma's end of their life, that time, still it remains as it is. It remains as it is. So that is parastasmattu bhavan. So description of the spiritual world, Prabhupada speaks about how the spiritual world in the purport, that spiritual world is beyond all the changes of the material nature, which is manifest and which is manifest and annihilated during the day and night of the Brahman. So Krishna's superior energy is transcendental and eternal, and Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite to the in the quality to the material world. So that gets annihilated again and again, but this remains permanently stable for all the time to come. So in this, Prabhupada tells in the purport, Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of the material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the day and night of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite to the quality of material nature, superior and inferior, and are explained in the seventh chapter. So in the seventh chapter, what we saw the superior energy and inferior energy of the Lord. Bhumira Ponodo Vayu Khamano Buddhirevacha, that is inferior, separated energy. And superior is the Parastasmattu Bhavanya, Jiva Bhuto Mahabhavo Yedam Dharite Jagat. So Prabhupada tells in the Easy Journey to Other Planet book also about one concept called as antimatter. Hmm. Antimatter. Scientist talks about antimatter. Then Prabhupada says that is spirit only. Hmm. So Prabhupada mentions there that uh, antimatter particle within the material body passes through different uh, stages of life from boyhood to youth, and eventually leaves the body and take up to the another one. So this antimaterial particle, it goes through the all changes, but it remains eternal only and take to the newer and newer body. But one who is like a mastered, who is a very yogi, mastered yogi, can give up his body and enter the anti-material world also. That is spiritual world. Prabhupada mentions the word anti-material there. And Prabhupada emphasizes there, uh, actually many people have desire to explore the material space. We are seeing Chandrayaan going on everywhere now. People want to see what's happening there, how is the things are there. Prabhupada says exploration of the material space is ultimately insignificant compared to the journey of anti-material spiritual world. So what people are thinking about Chandrayaan and big things, that is actually insignificant as compared to the journey to the spiritual world, what devotees are trying for, what devotees are trying to achieve in their life. So Prabhupada also says that our desire for cosmic exploration can be fully satisfied by traveling beyond this material, this limited universe to the unlimited antimaterial spiritual world. So people have a lot of money spending on this, making so much of research, having big institutes like NASA, ISRO are trying to understand what is space and what is that. But Prabhupada says by this journey to the anti-material is very higher than the insignificant exploration of the material space. So next verse. Avyaktoakshara ityuktas paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Would like to read? Sushant Prabhu.
That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode.
Yes. So Vedantis describe it as unmanifest and infallible. Avyakto akshara ityuktas. They are saying it is avyakta, which is unmanifest, is not manifest, it is avyakta. And akshara is infallible, it never falls down. And that which is known as the supreme destination, paramam gatim. And that place from which having attained, one never returns. That is, yam prapya na nivartante. Tad dhama paramam mama. So, here now, till now, that eternal abode, that eternal abode, that eternal abode, like that Krishna is telling. But here now it's specifically telling that is my abode. What I am talking till now, oh yogi, you will go there, you will go there. What is that? That is Tadhama Paramama. So Krishna is completing the link which is spoken in 15th and 16th verse, where he says, no, uh, मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम शाश्वत नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मान संसिद्धि परमं गता या आ ब्रह्म भुवना लोक पुनरावर्ति न विद्यते मामुपेत्य तो बनते पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते. So here he was not directly telling, but here in this mam tadhama paramam mama is very clearly telling that param dham is my abode. Paramam gating and param dham makes it very clear that what is our destination. We are supposed to go back home, back to Godhead. That is very clearly told here. So in the purport, Prabhupada talks about the supreme abode of the Lord and how the Lord is been served and how the Lord looks in this beautiful spiritual world. And Prabhupada also tells that Bhagavad Gita gives a small hint, but in places like Brahma Samhita and also quotes about Katha Upanishad, things are very elaborately explained there. Let us see that hit Katha Upanishad. So it is Brahma Samhita mentions the description of the supreme destination. Chintamani Prakara Sarma Sukalpa Vriksha, all places where the desired trees are all places where all desires are fulfilled, is full of palaces made up of the touchstone. There are also trees called as desired trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand. You ask anything, you get very nicely, immediately available. From Amrut, you can ask for apple and you'll get apple also. There are cows known as Surbi cows, which supply unlimited supply of milk. There is no need of Pashu Ahar there. They are fully satisfied eating the grasses and they give full lot of milk. He is called Govinda, the primeval Lord and the cause of all causes. He fulfills the desire and he fulfills the senses, satisfies the senses of all. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the world. Supremely attractive. Krishna Akarshayati iti Krishna. He wears the saffron cloth, pitambar, a garland around his neck, Vajayanti Mala, and peacock feather on his hair. Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayadaksham. He is attractive that he is so attractive that his body, his beauty excels that of the thousands of cupids. Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. So Cupid, you know, is the most beautiful person, Madan, but they also get attracted. His eyes are like the lotus petals, and color of his body is like the color of cloud. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Panantam, Arvindarayataksam. And in this abode, the Lord is served by the thousands and thousands of goddess of fortune. Lakshmi Sahastra Satasam Brahma Sevyaman. So these are all beautiful description and gems of description given in Brahma Samhita about the spiritual abode of the Lord. And in Kathopanishad, it is mentioned, nothing superior to the abode of the Supreme God. When one attains, he never returns to the material world, and Krishna's supreme abode are non-different. So what we have, this Vrindavan Dham in the material world, which is very close to our Kanpur, or Prabhupada mentions close to southeast of Delhi. That is the replica of the spiritual Golok Vrindavan. Yeah. This is Avyakta Akshara Brahma. The next verse. Purusha sa para partha bhaktya labhasvananyaya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Who would like to read? Devesh,
Yes,
go
sir.
on.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading and everything is situated within him.
Yes. So Purusha, Sa, Parha Partha. Oh, Supreme Personality, the Supreme Personality who is greater than all. Purusha, he is a Purusha. Sa Para Partha. Is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Bhaktyas labastvananya. How he is attainable? Only by bhakti. Yasyansastani bhutani. Although he is present in his abode, uh, he is all pervading and everything is situated within him. Yena sarvamidam tatam. So he is in his abode also, but he is everywhere also. He is in abode also, and everything is in him only. So it's very inconceivable. We saw it previously also, 7th chapter. So this is the speciality of that Purusha, his supreme personality of Godhead, is the supreme. Yeah. So attaining Krishna and attaining Krishna's abode is both is same because both are same, both are transcendental. And how does one attain Krishna's abode? By bhaktya, unalloyed devotional service. So uh, it is here clearly stated that supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the supreme person. So Ananda Chinmayaras, Brahma Samhita describes him as full of bliss, variegatedness. So in this purport, Prabhupada mentions, as far as the material world is concerned, although Lord is always in his supreme abode, he is nonetheless all pervading by his material energy. So by his spiritual and material energy, he is present everywhere, both in this material world and in the spiritual universes. Yasyanta sthani means everything is sustained within him and within either his spiritual or material energy. The Lord is all pervading by these two energies. So how Lord is pervaded everywhere? The Lord is present here also right now. I am sitting in the room, but this room is made up of Bhumi, Rapanolo, Vayu. So actually Lord is uh, giving full shelter by having that all elements that strength properly and they're acting in that direction and therefore I am also comfortable sitting here. So to Krishna, to enter Krishna's supreme abode or innumerable Vaikuntha planet is possible only by bhakti. That is devotional service. So bhaktya word is mentioned here. No other process can help attain that supreme abode, Prabhupada is telling. So he one quotes the Gopal Tapani Upanishad. He says, Gopal Tapani Upanishad says, uh, the supreme abode and the supreme personality of Godhead. That is, Eko Vasi Sarva Gah Krishna. In that abode, there is only one supreme personality of Godhead whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity. So, like that, he mentions, and he mentions that he has unlimited uh, expansions, Vaikuntha expansions, in the name of Purushottam, Trivikram, Narayan, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudeva, Damodara, Padmanabha. Like that, it is mentioned. Yeah, I did go to the next slide. I was supposed to go to the next slide here. This is the next slide. Supreme Lord is only attainable by unalloyed devotion. This word states here. I just spoke about this right now. To enter Krishna's supreme abode, any of the Vaikuntha planet is possible only by bhakti. And he has unlimited expansions. mentioned. All this detailed information is given from the references of Gopal Tapani Upanishad, and Brahma Samhita and Shweta Shatar Upanishad. So Prabhupada quotes about Gopal Upanishad I just read, and Brahma Samhita, Goloka eva nivasati akhila atma bhuto. Although Lord resides in the supreme abode, he is pervading. And Shweta Shatar Upanishad also says, Supreme Lord, although residing far away, systematically conducts everything in the cosmic manifestation by his all pervading energies. Shweta Shatar Upanishad also clearly tells about these three aspects. So from here now, Krishna is emphasizing about bhakti in attaining Krishna, because in this verse, Krishna clearly told, Bhaktya lavastvanannaya, because Purusha Saparapartha, that Krishna, that Supreme Lord can be understood only by Bhaktya. So now, from 23 to 28, Krishna is focusing on the supremacy of pure bhakti in attaining Krishna. Let us go to the next verse. Path taken by the yogis, gyanis, and karmis. First, he will explain the path taken by yogis, gyanis, and karmis. 23, 24, and then 25, 26 onwards. We will tell about supreme devotees path also. यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ. प्रतीको.
O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world the yogi does or does not come back.
Yes. So in the beginning, Smaran was the how one can remember at a time of death, that was asked. So now he's replying. Now I shall explain you, after explaining all these details. He's saying that I am going to explain you the different times at which passing away of this world, the yogi does come back or does not come back. Avrittim, anavrittim. Yatra kaletva anavrittim, avrittim cha yogina. Passing away of the people who will come back and who will not come back. That Krishna is going to tell now in this verse. He's telling in this verse. So, in general, one concept we need to understand, that going back to God, it is a one concept, one understanding, and with that understanding, person can get a clarity about how one is going back to Godhead. So, in every tradition, they have some understanding that end should be nice. Even the Christians also, they have particular way and understanding how to bury the dead body and what will be his destination further. So that those things also are spoken there. So in a Vedic time, one point I just want to make one thing here is, what we are going to talk about here is the system is there, yoga system is there, that is focusing on living entities' departure from this material world and entrance into the spiritual world. So for that, there is a one particular mechanism told, that is Ashtanga Yoga. Right now we are seeing in this chapter. But in this, while performing Ashtanga Yoga, person has to also focus on the Supreme Lord Krishna, Bhaktya Astvanannaya. And when he depends only on the aspect of the yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, but doesn't remember Krishna, then he will not go back to Godhead. But he remembers Krishna while performing Ashtanga Yoga, then he has chances to go back to Godhead. And these yogis, they generate a very special power actually. because by following certain process, by having access to the higher dimensions, uh, they can get the things very easily done. Just like yogis, they control their mind and senses, and then they achieve the siddhis. Actually, siddhis are not the goal for the yogi. Siddhis are considered to be like abstraction, actually, distraction in the path of yoga. Siddhis means anima, lagima, mahima, prapti, shita, vashita. Those all different siddhis, ashta siddhi are there, where person can become smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest, lighter than the lightest. He can extend his hand anywhere and get anything from anywhere. Prabhupada tells about how in his childhood he saw one yogi who was getting pomegranate from Afghanistan and bringing it here like this. So they get access to the higher dimension, and thus they get uh, things very easily in their lives. But still, this siddhis, whatever yogis achieve, that is also material only. So this Ashtanga Yoga talks about the different energies in the body, Shat Chakra. Uh, Different we saw in the previous verses how different places in the body these chakras are there, and this is basically prana vayu, and how it is activating and control that region properly, and this is how it is growing and developing. So actually this system is there in Vedic tradition, and in modern science also we see the people have different outlook toward the body. They will have anatomy, physiology, or no organs, or the vascular diagrams. So body is the same, but what is the focus based on that? They get that from that body. Like people is working on the vascular system, the veins running in this body. Then he will not focus more on the bones. But somebody is focusing on the skeleton, then he'll focus more on the bones but not on the veins. Or somebody is focusing on the digestive system, then he will focus on the organs in the body properly, but not the veins and the bones. So what is the focus? Based on that focus, person will be able to see and understand. So this is the same thing, but approach in different way gives some certain clarity and understanding. I was speaking this thing to understand how the modern approaches also are there and how the Vedic approaches are also are there. But Vedic approaches, uh, in that also the aspect of remembering Krishna is very important. When somebody remembers Krishna, then he will perfect his life. But if he is just focusing on the Ashtanga Yoga aspect, then he may not. So now the 24th verse speaks about. Uh, okay, I did cover this. No, I didn't cover this. So in this verse, Lord is explaining how at different times living body yogi come back to the and do not come back. So karmis, gyanis, and yogis, they must leave the body at the suitable time and thereby assured whether or not they will return to the world of birth and death. Whether they'll come back or not, that depends on at particular time. But for devotees, he by his unalloyed devotee only, Krishna takes care of his going back and back to Godhead. He just surrenders himself to Krishna, and Krishna takes him back and back to Godhead. So different ways of living the body. For karma kandis, they attain the heavenly planets, but they live generally in the darkness night during the smoke fortnight, wanting waning moon for 6 months. Sun passes to the south, reaches to the moon, and again come back. So that will be explained in 25th verse. And 24th verse talks about path of yogis and gyanis. Uh, that is the light influenced by the fiery god, auspicious moment of the day, fortnight of the waxing moon, and 6 months when sun travels to the south. But their destination is the destination of Brahma Jyoti only, yogis and gyanis. But a path or unalloyed devotional service, they can leave the body at any time. And they are not subjected to the conditions like the yogis, gyanis, and karmakandis. And they can go back and back to Godhead. Krishna takes care of and gives protection to them. And devotional service gives result of all such activities. So ways of living the body. The Gyanis and Yogis, in the light, they leave the body and attain Brahma Jyoti. Karma Kandis, in the darkness, and then they'll achieve the heavenly planets. But a devotee, anytime, and attains Krishna Lok. So here he speaks about path of no return. अग्निर्ज्योतिरः शुक्ल षण्मास उत्तरायणं तत्र प्रयात गच्छन्ति ब्रह्मविदो जनः. Please read. Would like to read Shivam Prabhu.
Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god. In the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north.
Yes. So here Krishna is talking about yogis and jnanis, not about the devotees. Because he's saying Brahma Vido Janaha. So he's talking about yogis and jnanis. And how their advancement, if they are advanced in their yoga or in their jnana, then these all personalities, fire god, and these are the personalities actually. They are in person guiding his path. Okay, now just like traffic guidance, go from here to go from there. Now in Kumbh Mela, lot of police are there, they are guiding how to go, where to go, what to do, like that. Somebody has perfected his life, then he has been directed by these personalities of demigods. They guide him to go to the particular destination of Brahman. And for those who are not advanced, the next verse will speak about. So in this verse, Prabhupada says, if one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So, what path is given here, that if somebody leaves the body in the influence of a fiery god, in the light, in the auspicious moment of the day, and during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels towards the north, that means Uttarayan. So, January it starts, January to June. In January to June, in the auspicious days, in the daytime, and in the influence of fire god. If that is the case, then person goes back to Godhead, like that it is said. And if he is not perfected, but still is living the body during that time only, still he will attend the Brahma Jyoti, like that. So it's a system made for people to travel ahead in this life. The next verse. This verse talks about the path of return taken by the karmis. धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्ण षण्मास दक्षिणायनम तत्र चांद्रमसं ज्योतिर योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते. विश्वास प्रभु.
The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south reaches the moon planet, but again comes back.
Yes. So he again
Comes back.
comes back, right? So धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्ण षण्मास दक्षिणायनम तत्र चांद्रमसं ज्योतिर yogi prapya nivartate. So in the period, especially June to December, July to December, that is Dakshinayan, and waning of the moon. And in the night time and during the smoke, one who leaves the body, he will reaches the moon planet. But why Krishna is here telling moon planet? Prabhupada is also telling moon planet. Because Karda Muni in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that he mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on the earth attain the moon at a death. But they will live there for only 10,000 years. eat a lot of somras, and eventually return to the earth only back again. So this means that on moon there's a higher class of living entities being there, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses from this material world. So one time Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was there. He was walking and looked towards the moon. He said, "There's a lot of preaching required in moon planet also. People are doing a lot of sense gratification there." So pure devotee like him, he can see the things through also by Krishna's mercy. Mm. So 26th verse, it talks about uh, more of a summary of this two path. शुक्ल कृष्णे गति हेते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम अन्यया वर्तते पुनः. Read. So Rishabh Prabhu.
According to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns.
Yes. So we saw in the 24th and 25th verse that is path of light and path of darkness. So one who passes in light does not come back. When one passes in darkness, he returns. He comes back to this world. So Baldev Vidyabhushan also quotes in this. Prabhupada is quoting Baldev Vidyabhushan from Chandogya Upanishad. He mentions those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial constantly going and coming and do not attain the ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. So those who are fruitive workers, they are happy doing karma kand. They are just engaged in karma kandic activities, doing yagyas and getting punya and enjoying the benefit of that punya. And there are people who are philosophical speculators. They are trying to understand the world in different ways, creating different philosophies. So from time immemorial, they have not come out of this material world. They are just coming and going, coming and going. Bhutva bhutva praliyate chal raha hai unka. Because bhaktya astonanya shaktya. So they are not able to, they are not surrendering to Krishna. Therefore, they are not able to understand Krishna properly. So, after this explaining the summary of the two, Krishna is telling the 27th verse. So, what is the destination of a devotee? Nete Shruti Partha Janan Yogi Muhyanti Kaschanah Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. Please read, Mohit Prabhu.
Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, we always fixed in devotion.
Yes. So, the devotees, Naite Shruti Partha Jana Yogin Muhyanti Kaschana. Although devotees know both the paths, but they are never bewildered. Why? Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. They're always fixed in devotion to Krishna. And therefore, Yoga Yukta Bhava Arjuna. So always remain in yoga, constantly in connection with the Supreme Lord. So here the yogis are meditating, and Prabhupada is glorifying the devotee of the Lord. So this is the unique path for the devotees. Krishna Yoga Yukta. Rupa Goswami gives understanding. Prabhupada quotes what is Yoga Yukta. Yoga Yukta means having proper connection with the Krishna. What we say, Yukta Vairagya. Rupa Goswami gives Nasaktasya Visayani Taharam Uponyatam Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. When one is not attached to the anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated about the possessiveness. That is Yukta Vairagya. And what is principle of Yukta? That is from Bhagavad Gita. Yukta Hara Vyarasya Yukta Cheshtasya Karmasu Yukta Swapnava Bodhasya Yoga Hoti Dukkha. The one who is regulated in habits, eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate material life. So this is where one can be Yoga Yukta to engage constantly in Krishna's service, Krishna's activities by following Rupa Goswami's Yukta Vairagya and Devotee does not worry about which path to go. He doesn't worry because he is firmly established in Krishna's service. He is always chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And this is the best way to absorb ourselves and total our all our activities in Krishna's service. So this is how is focused all our acharyas, Shadu Goswamis, Prabhupada. They set the example what it means to be completely absorbed. And Prabhupada writes very nice one statement in the purport. Prabhupada says, the best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to always dovetail in his service. And this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. So, one who is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness, he is engaging all his activities, his karmendriya, gyanendriya, in connection to Krishna, Krishna's devotees, Krishna's service. Then his path is to spiritual kingdom is how is his path to spiritual kingdom? Safe, certain, and direct. Three words Prabhupada is very nicely mentioning here. Therefore, one should be yoga yukta. And Bhagavatam also Sutta Goswami says very nice verse in first canto. नोत्तम श्लोक वार्तानां जुषतां तत्कथामृतं स्यात् संभ्रमन्त कालेपि स्मरतां तत्पदाम्बुजम्. There was This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sings, and who are constantly engaged in the remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconception even at the last moment of their lives. So, Sutta Goswami says in the 18th chapter of first canto that those devotees who are constantly engaged in remembering Lord's lotus feet, and which Lord whose glories are sung by Vedic hymns all the time. They never run a risk of misconception even at the time of last living up while living the death. And we have a powerful example of Srila Prabhupada, how Prabhupada preached very vigorously even his advanced age, and with that preaching, he actually uh, made so many living entities turn towards Krishna. And towards the end, he was like living the battlefield. He said, I want to die like a fighter on the battlefield of preaching. So he just preached all the time. So the idea is one should prepare oneself to go back to Godhead, to live this body properly. Uh, people, many people have understanding about good death and bad death. So from our side, we should put all our efforts. Therefore, when one has to be yoga yukta, and when one is yoga yukta, then he will be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. And of course, for a devotee, we are not just focusing on living body, remembering Krishna, but as a devotee, one is one focuses on loving Krishna. Because if he's loving Krishna, he will all the time remember Krishna only. So with that, now the final verse comes of this chapter, where Krishna speaks the fruit of knowing the import of Shastras as spoken in the chapter 7 and chapter 8. So this verse Prabhupada mentions in the purport is a summary or summation of the both chapters 7th and 8th. So let us take the last verse. Vedeshu yaggeshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atteti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanum upeti chadyam. A person who accepts, oh sorry, Keshav, you want to read, please read.
Thank you, Prabhuji. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal.
Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, one who is performing devotional service, he is attaining the results of all these activities. What are the activities? Studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities, simply by performing devotional service. So, if one is performing devotional service, that means he is performing all these activities. So, Prabhupada nicely mentions path of Vedic life. How it is the path of Vedic life? Purpose is gradual elevation to the perfectional stage. Hmm. Sanskriti is to develop Prakriti. Prakriti is supposed to meant to achieve the Sanskriti, not Vikriti. So, gradual elevation to the perfectional stage. So, Brahmacharis, he will do study of the Vedas under spiritual master. He will perform many austerities, penances, and trained in celibacy and menial services, beg alms, and take food under the master's order. If master doesn't call, he will not come. Once he perform all these activities, then he will develop a wonderful character. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport, doing all these activities is to develop one's character, not just to discuss what is given in Vedas and this and that, just armchair speculator. And with that character, uh, if he wants to take to the Grahastha ashram, then he may go to the Grahastha ashram and develop a sacrifice, do sacrifices, charity according to time, place, and circumstances. A lot of charity he gives, a lot of sacrifices he performed. Then finally goes to the retired life of tapasya. Then he takes sannyas to go back home, back to Godhead. So this is how the bachelor life, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, how person moves progressively. So devotional service is not bereft of the result derived from any other spiritual activities, studying Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, pursuing philosophy and fruitive activities. So path of devotional service is not bereft of the result derived upon. So idam viditva implies one should understand instructions of Krishna scrutinizingly. So which instruction? That is given in the 7th and 8th chapter. We just was last couple of months we have just tried to do this. And how? By hearing in association of devotees, like every Monday, Tuesday, we are coming together and hearing. And how we should not do that? Not as a just academic scholarship or mental speculation, but sincerely with it, faith and devotion, hearing it. So that is the greatest fortune. That to understand middle 6 chapters in association of devotee, this is the greatest fortune. So right now we have just begun 7th, 8th until 12th chapter. We should all focus early morning hours trying to understand this Bhagavad Gita in the association of devotee. And then that is the greatest fortune. So why it is a fortune? Because result of such activities are automatically achieved simply by Krishna consciousness. Yogi, Yageshu, Vedeshu, Yageshu, Daneshu, everything is attained this. So it talks about relishing study of Bhagavatam Gita, how it develops. Prabhupada speaks about if somebody has little Shraddha, little faith in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he should start reading it in the association of sadhus and learn from only qualified devotees from and not from the mental speculator. And then when he does starting that, then anartha, nivritti and bhajana kriya started. Then service in association dispels all the misgivings about the God. He starts serving bhajana kriya, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and rendering services. Then his misgivings will go away. Then he will become fixed up in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, study of Bhagavad Gita. And then slowly, Ruchi will develop. Relishes the study, attaining the state of feeling always Krishna consciousness. It feels that feeling, Ruchi and Asakti is there. And then slowly, he falls completely in love with Krishna, the higher perspective stage, and thus he attains the bhava and prem and transfers to the spiritual abode of Krishna. So this is another cycle of developing our love, Shraddha to Prem, by reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So this is how in the 8th chapter we saw how to remember Krishna, and this last verse speaks about the summary of the whole chapter, 7th and 8th. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we'd like to stop here, and Dantidev has some question, it seems.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
sir,
Prabhuji.
Dantidev. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question. It was written that the material world is always changing, but the spiritual world is fixed, not changing, it's constant. So, and then you had explained that there are four kind of the annihilation. So the first one was that every moment everything is changing. So how, like that one I couldn't get. How every moment everything is like deteriorating, how it.
In the material world, everything is changing because right now it is said, no, every after 7 years, we ourselves are completely changed.
Body is thing, right?
Completely changed. So
Mm.
body is changing, matter is changing, spirit is passing through that. Spirit is always constant. But the material world, whole thing is changing all the time. That is Nitya Pralay.
Hmm. Okay. So prove like it was written the spiritual word, everything is like fixed, not changing. But like we heard that according to the pastimes of the Lord, everything will be like done that way. Like the
Yes,
trees, garden, kunja. So if you see the relative position, form, color, position, everything changes there also. So in
yes,
one sense, isn't that is also always changing. Even that is really more dynamic because we can ask mango from the banana tree also.
yes, yes, that is true. So they are always changing, but not uh, destroying.
Huh. That
It
is.
is not, it is Akshara. It is
Hmm.
infallible.
Infallible.
It is changing, it is
Mm.
dynamic,
Mm.
and dynamic for the pleasure of the Lord, because Krishna Navana Rasa, Damna.
Yeah.
So is testing the never and never rasa. So it
Mm.
is manifesting never and never, is changing all the time, but for
Mm.
the pleasure of the Lord, not for decaying purpose. But in
Mm. Yes, in
material
the
world, they are
decay.
changing for decaying. So these
Mm.
6 transformations are there. No, we see those six
Birth and death.
transformation going birth, old age to death. That is
Uh,
not with spiritual, but
spiritual
it is
world.
changing on top like this, going up only.
Yes, Puji, so like birth and death part and old age part is not there, but another change in the position, color, and everything is also happening there.
Yes, very much.
Okay, fine.
It's full
So,
of colorful and variedness. What we cannot
yes,
imagine here, all those
yes.
things can be seen there.
Destruction part is all like not there at all, and other things.
Yes.
But so that
Destruction,
it also
destruct,
keeps changing.
yeah, destruction comes with the passage, with the intervention of time, kala.
But there is no call active.
But kal active is there, but that kal is not having destructing effect in the spiritual world.
Okay.
Kal has a destructing effect in the material world, but
Okay.
not there.
Okay.
The kala is supportive to the Krishna's pastime. Krishna
Mm.
wants to increase the night time. So
Mm.
when gopis was dancing with Krishna, so that
Mm.
night became equivalent to the Brahma's day.
Brahma's Kalpas, right?
Yeah. So for 311 trillion 40 billion life, that much long dance Krishna did with the gopis.
Is right.
Okay.
Correct. And
In
two, like
the
one a small
yeah.
one, like it is was written that Krishna and the spiritual world are non-different. So, but the Lord has the personality, and the spiritual world is a place where he lives. So, like yes, both are spiritual. That is true. Avyakta, like they both are akshara, infallible, and spirit. But person and belonging, they both are different, or they are same means what? Like that I couldn't get.
They're same in the sense they are Satchitananda.
Sachidanand.
They are same in a mean that they are
Hmm.
Satchidananda. And Krishna can manifest whatever way he comes, it's like Krishna manifested as a Govardhan also. So
Hmm.
there everything is Sachidananda, that is another form of Krishna. And Krishna manifested himself as a different Gopas and Gopis also in the
Hmm.
pastime of Brahma Vimohan Leela,
Brahma
right?
Leela.
Right. So Krishna can manifest in any way, because everything is expansion of Krishna only.
Hmm.
But not that everything is Krishna. It's the same concept again. Krishna is unique. Although expansions may come out from Krishna, but Krishna is still unique.
Personality
Okay.
Krishna is again unique.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Indranil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji, Dhanvat Pranam. Guruji, I had
Pranam.
doubt like in 8.25, there was description about passing away of soul in ignorance, like
Right.
in Dakshinayan or waxing, waning moon. And one
Right.
more thing was smoke. So this Dakshinayan or waning moon, we can tangibly know ki what is that. But what is about smoke, Guruji? I did not understand.
Yeah. So Dhumo Ratri Statha Krishna. So there's no particular explanation about it, but what I understand about Dhumo Ratri means it's a dark time, uh, foggy time, or we say no, environment is not very good today. It's very foggy. It is inauspicious. Twilight time, night time. So when there's bright sun is not there, hazy time is there. So things in the presence of Surya Narayan is considered very auspicious. Prabhupada said, why do you want to go to hell? You can experience hell here in London itself, because there is no sunlight here. So like that kind of environment is also understanding of smoke, not clear sun's presence, and it's not completely darkness, but in between little hazy.
Okay, Guruji. Yes, Guruji. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and one more question was there. Okay, maybe Mohit Prabhu, yes, last.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I had two questions, Prabhuji. Little question from 24. Prabhuji, although Krishna is speaking this verse 24, but
Hmm.
he uses that Sa Purusa. I mean, he's indirectly saying that supreme personality of Godhead. So
हाँ.
why like Krishna is saying like this? वो अपना डायरेक्ट अहम भी ऐसे बोल सकते थे, मैं हूँ वो पुरुषा, because that gives chance to these impersonalists to misinterpret these things.
Yes.
So तो
So
इसी के बारे
Krishna,
में जानना था.
yeah, Krishna actually is a loving father, no, loving God. So doesn't want to push anybody anywhere. So when he tells indirectly, because yogi, when he is practicing his yoga sadhana, he is not clear who's Krishna. He is focusing on the process and he is trying to understand Brahman. But when he will start in the association, we were discussing, no, that all path, maybe karma, jnana, or dhyana, they all will become complete only when the person have a devotion also in them as a subtlest part required at the final moment. Like the yogi, when he's meditating, then his meditation on the yama, niyama, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, samadhi, like that will come. And one who is attached yogi, it is mentioned that his meditation remains on the universal form of the Lord. But one who is detached yogi, his meditation goes to the Paramatma form of the Lord. And then he will realize the Bhagwan aspect. Because Bhagwan aspect, we were discussing previously also, that it has to come through revelation. It cannot come by just one's own contemplations and interpretations, meditation and interpretation, but he will come by revelation, and revelation will come when will please the Guru and Krishna. Then only you'll be able to understand the personality of Godhead. So therefore, Krishna sometimes some places gives hint that my abode mama, but not everywhere, because the yogis, all of them don't have that shraddha. And eventually, when you will have that slowly follow the path and come in association of devotee, then he will be also revealed that Krishna is the supreme.
Yes, Prabhuji. And the
And
second question is,
second,
Prabhuji, that although this is very clear that Bhakti Yoga path is very like highest path, and we can reach the highest abode by Bhakti only. But why these misinterpretations comes in this world, like of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and some people are saying this and like that. Like, is this part of the plan of Krishna? और ये ऐसे आता है कि जीवा जो है अपनी जो इंडिपेंडेंस है उसको मिसयूज करके इसकी वजह से ये मिस इंटरप्रिटेशन आ रही है, फिर भगवान ही चाहते हैं ऐसा ताकि कलयुग फिर आगे प्रोग्रेस कर सके।
It's a part of Krishna, it's a part of plan of Krishna also, but Krishna always gives the freedom because whole process is moving forward so that person can come to the conscious choice that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and I am supposed to worship him.